Yay, we're on. Welcome, 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 everyone. Yay, thank you, technology, for working with ease and grace today. Happy Wednesday, everyone. As you just welcome, 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 welcome. As you come into this container, Just take that breath. Take that deep breath. And on that exhale, just allow all things that don't support you, all things that just allow all the chaos, everything, just to drop away, I have needed to be using these practices myself more recently. So as we begin, can you let me know for sure that you can hear me? Thank you for joining today. It's been a whirlwind of events the last week, more so recently. For those of you that are new to me, I am Tammy Lee, the founder and of the Emerald Compass, and a very highly intuitive, multidimensional, intuitive, working with trajectories of all kinds, facilitator, and wow, even my brain's a little combobulated. Of healing experiences. We work multidimensionally, different realms, different pieces, and I just asked for my entourage to join us here and the sacred grandmothers to join us here, especially today, surrounding all of us with so much support. So much support. As in what I've been, experienced over the last few days, the last week, which I'll share here in a bit. I love to love. And we can love so much, and we can be loved so much. But there's going to be times in life that we're going to require support in order to get through life, in order to get through the experiences that pop up, in order to carry on in our lives, in order to be able to walk through by the minute, by the hour, by the day. And there will be those times. It's just life, right? So I chose this place. Thank you. Thank you, Diana. So I chose sitting here today because I can look outside. I wanted to do this call today with you outside. But I never know when the ducks are going to come along or the dogs are going to start barking or want my attention because I'm giving my attention to you. And today, sitting in a place where I feel like I'm on a throne, because that's one of the things we discussed yesterday on a call with a few other ladies I was with, is how do you treat yourself, women? How do you treat yourself? Especially when you're giving everything to everyone else. The last 4 days have been something new challenging and very emotional. When I went to go see my mom on Saturday, who lives with my older sister. My older sister, so maybe not all of you know this about me. Oh, I went the wrong way. My older sister has Alzheimer's and dementia. She's only 2 years older than me. And knowing she has this, knowing like what I've only heard is that there will be a time when she needs to go into a rest home, a facility, possibly. Not everybody does. But I'm thinking, that's about it. That's a couple years away, right? Just 2 weeks ago. Now, I guess now it would be 2.5 weeks ago. Just 2.5 weeks ago, when I would see my sister, yes, you could tell there were symptoms. And yet, she knew who I was. She was very boisterous. She laughed a lot. And in 2 weeks, that stopped. Saturday, when I went to go see my mom, which means I also see my sister, I walk in and she looks at me like there's a blank slate across her eyes. So I asked her, Cindy, do you know who I am? In a very quiet voice, with a very confused look on her face, she's like, yeah, oh yeah, you're Tammy. Oh yeah, you're Tammy. That was a very scary moment for me. It was more scary, not that she didn't remember me right off the bat, is the blank look across her eyes, across her whole face. I saw mannerisms with her on Saturday I have never seen. And I was shocked, stunned, and talked to my mom, with my mom, and heard the word facility. And I just started crying. That's not supposed to be now. That's supposed to be later. Okay. So case in point is about allowing our emotions to move through no matter where we're at, no matter who we're with. When things like, when you are emotionally, yes, there's times when I hold back my emotion. But I am also learning that if we don't share it in the moment, we do a disservice not just to ourselves, but to others. So me allowing my emotion to come through as I'm talking with my mom, because I don't have to be the strong one, allowed my mom to have her emotion too. That's Saturday. Sunday, my sister was put in the hospital. She collapsed. Taken to the hospital. Now she's in the hospital. Yesterday, I go visit my mom again. Something's not right. I have to call. I call a doctor. When in doubt, call the ambulance, is what they said. Called the ambulance. Now, yesterday, my mom was admitted. Was I able to handle this yesterday? Yes, I was. Did I have a breakdown? More than one little mini breakdowns. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today, is when we know we have to be strong in a moment, what support system do we have in place? I want you ladies to really think about this. Do you have a support system when things like that? I've never called an ambulance for anybody. That was a new experience yesterday. I was scared. I was scared. Even with all the work I do, all the inner work I do, all the healing I do, we still get scared. And allow yourself to be scared. Allow somebody else to step up for you and with you. Who do you have? I really want you ladies to think about this. Who do you have as an immediate support system? Do you know off the top of your head? Do you have those numbers written down? For some reason, if you forget, my mom is better today. I don't know about my sister yet. I have a feeling if my sister gets dismissed from the hospital, I say if because she was in bad shape. I don't know if there's even, she pulled out her, because of her confusion, she pulled out her IV 3 times. Whew. I'm sharing this with you today, not for that you feel sorry for me, because I know I can handle this. This is more about awareness of what are we doing to prepare for those moments in time when we as the women we are, we as the individual we are, we as the human we are. I just realized today, as I'm setting the energy for this, for this container today, I'm like, did I call on it? I called on human help, and I'm like, did I call on other help? Like my angels or my entourage, my team, my Sasquatch, my elders, my sacred grandmothers. Did I do that? And right now, as I just said that, I'm hearing them all say to me, Tammy, we didn't, okay, Tammy, you did not need to call upon us because we were there with you. We were there. I hear them saying that to me right now. So when we develop a relationship with our spiritual team, whoever that is for you, I call them my joy team. I also call them my entourage. These beings are from all different aspects. And right now, as I'm sharing this with you, I see the unicorn, like right here, right here. She's showing up so I can see her as I'm sharing this. Because I have been developing a closer relationship with all these spiritual, multidimensional beings, really diving deep over the last 2 years, 2.5 years. Wow. It's almost 3 years since I've been really working on this. This is also something I teach over in the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood, to develop those relationships with our spiritual team for when we have those human experiences. So let me really bring this home. To truly build a relationship with our spiritual team, multidimensional spiritual team, they show up without us even asking for them, especially when we have these human experiences that can take us out. Do you guys understand that? Am I saying that correctly? We require to build our relationship with our spiritual team, so then they will show up for us without us even calling them in. They'll know. They're with us, even when we don't know it. Especially when we have those human experiences that can take us out. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. So how do we build that relationship? For me, sometimes walking in the grass, working with my flowers, believing that multidimensional beings exist. How do I build a relationship with them? I talk to them, even if I don't even know who they are. Oh, I forgot to turn off that ringer. So, oh, ring, 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 ring. Okay. Note to self, turn off the ringer next week. Okay, so how do we build a relationship with our spiritual team? Say out loud, I'm here. I want to know who you are. Can you believe you have a spiritual team? Sometimes that's the first step, to open yourself up. I didn't know this. Where I am at today, with all these different multidimensional beings that I'm still learning about, just learned about a new one last week. But opening up to that, opening up ourselves to those possibilities, helps them to like, oh, do you see that? Tammy's wondering about us. Tammy's even asking about us. Oh, Tammy's opening to the possibilities to be in communication with us, relationship with us. Just opening up the possibilities and just speaking that out, or having that thought in your mind, like talking through mind speak is what they call it, where I can hear others and others hear me. Mind speak. That's some of the ways we can grow a relationship with our spiritual team, our entourage. Who is your support system? Who is your support team? When we have these things in life that can take us out, who is your support team that you can, in a moment, are they in your phone as an ICE contact, like in case of emergency? Do you have those different people. Yesterday, I called my daughter, Shanna. She lives in town, only about a mile or so where my mom lives. Now, she couldn't come right away. I'm like, something strange. What? I'm busy, Mom. I'm like, okay, do what you got to do. Call me back when you're done. Now, your team might not always be able to be there in a moment if you need somebody in person. So do you have a second backup? Because when we have these life challenges of, like I was sharing earlier, of to my family members, Monday, bam, my sister's in the hospital. Tuesday, yesterday, I'm over there with my mom. She lives with my sister. And bam, I got to call the ambulance. Who's a support team member? I called my mom's doctor first. Am I over-exaggerating needing to call an ambulance? When in doubt, make the phone call. Is exactly what they said. I thought maybe I was over-exaggerating. So when we get out of our head sometimes, and just allow that heart to guide us. Because if I would have been saying, oh, I'm exaggerating. Okay, don't call him yet. Oh, I can do it. I can help my mom down the steps. If I was too proud, like in my head, oh, I can do this. I'm strong, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea what, I feel like that would have been a disaster. Like I'm even hearing the word disaster. That's another thing to look for. Are you saying no to help? Are you saying no to support because you don't want to bother somebody? Are you saying no to support because you think you might be a hindrance or a pain in the butt? Let's just put it right. One of the things to do when you're in that, because I think we all go through that, right? Oh, I'll take care of it myself. I don't need to ask for help. Is if you can in that moment, stop and think, well, what would I tell them if they needed help? Like, call me, girl. So I do have that support system locally. I can talk to you today without crying. Allow those emotions to really come forth. Allowing your emotions to really come forth. This is one of the things I realized about myself. Really proud of myself for this. I could see the work. That's what it is, even more. I could see the work I've done on myself to help me through situations of what I experienced yesterday. Because I was the eye of the storm. Even when I got emotional, I was still the eye of the storm. Along with allowing yourself to have the emotion, which I did. I had little mini breakdowns. But you know what? They only lasted maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes versus hours, which would have been 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I used to do a tailspin into depression. But with all the inner work I do, and this is why I always encourage you ladies, and I don't care if it's me you work with. I care more about you. I care more about you healing you. Whether it's me you work with or somebody else, we all need that extra help. Yes, there's stuff I do on my own, but for me, yes, I also reach out. I also reach out when I need help. I have mentors and coaches because I know if I want to keep growing, if I want to be the sustainable, sovereign self that I'm working towards, it's a team effort, our own team effort. So, who's your support team? Who can you call? Do you have those numbers in your phone as your ICE contact? Do you have them written down? If for some reason you get confused, you know where they're at. I don't know, in the confusion my mom was in yesterday, she could say my first name. When she was asked who I was, she's like, well, that's my daughter, Tammy. What's Tammy's last name? She could not remember. It's almost like she could remember, but like she was just looking. Oh, yeah, I know it, but it's not there. So have them written down. I'm just suggesting these things so you're prepared. So if somebody has to help if somebody else has to come in and help you, will they know who to call? My mom doesn't have nothing. So this has been a really big learning lesson. And what I was starting to say is one of the things I really realized about me is one, the little mini breakdowns, allowing my emotion to flow, boom, and then it's done. Take a deep breath. Okay, what was the next task? And then the next task. And then the next task. Emotion comes. Let it come. Take a deep breath. Go on. So remember, you do have a support team with you, both spiritual, and now it's time to create your physical. Is there any questions or comments that you ladies have that you want to share? So when you go through different things that are really heavy life challenges, like I have done in the last 4 days for sure, also create a list. How do you take care of yourself? Because this is vital because of the energy we expend on taking care of these, being the storm, being the eye of the storm, being the solid one in the chaos. We must create some kind of, how do you support yourself? What are you doing to take care of yourself? To create that system that you know, creating that system that you can fall back on for yourself when you are called to step up to take care of a life challenge. Knowing yesterday, so yesterday I'm in the hospital almost all day, didn't leave until like 9 o'clock last night with my mom. So from when I arrived at her home, from 1 o'clock to 9, totally in the hospital with her. In the room, not moving very much at all. So how am I going to take care of myself? Like I was already thinking, what do I need to take care of me so I stay up, so I stay energized, so I do not get depleted. Do you have like a list of things for yourself? My me list, my self-care list. Do you have any habits in place? So these are just kind of some of the things I'm asking all of us in general, because here's the thing also, ladies, when we create a habit, especially when we're exhausted or we're just coming off of something, but we have these habits, we naturally fall into them. Good or bad, right or wrong. So what habits do you have now? And I noticed this with me this morning. What habits do you have now that will support you? That if for some reason you're too tired to think, the habit takes over. What good habits have you implemented for you? That, because I noticed I fell into some habits. I fell into a habit last night, eating chips when I came home from the hospital. Didn't beat myself up. Notice, like, I've been doing really good with what I've been eating. Why did I go for that bag of chips? Just like, but not beating ourselves up when we do that. Like I said, what habits? I never have thought about this to this point, to this really deep point. What good habits have I set up or now realizing require for me to stay at my highest and greatest and best of self? What habits do I need to create even more of that I will naturally fall into place when life challenges can take us out of our norm, especially a norm that could be supporting you, lifting you up. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Are you understanding? Is this resonating? My brain's already working, if you can't tell, of the different habits and the support that we can really create for ourselves. For ourselves, with ourselves. When we really take this to heart and really open up to those possibilities. So let's go to the chat and see who's made comments. Hi, Anne, Alicia, and Sherry. Diana, thank you so much for joining. Some of the comments already went away. Well, that's interesting. But Anne says she is so grateful to have an amazing support team. Alicia, oh, it's wonderful to see you too, darling. Oh, yes. Thank you for that. She says, Tammy, you're doing great. Thank you for today's talk. That was another thing that I realized. Hi, Sherry. Good. I'm so glad you could jump on with us. That's another thing that our support team can show up in so many different ways. I have a business coach helping me with my work and getting my work more out there in the world. And I'm not thinking about business. I'm not thinking about doing another something program, or like I am, but it's not like here in the forefront. And I talked to her this morning. Actually, she reached out to me to let me know, to let me know she was there for me. And I said something about, okay, I'm just going to say this. I actually said to her, so my mind's not on business right now, or doing your program, like I'm just combobulated and not knowing now what's going to happen when my mom gets out of the hospital, and all those different things you got to set up, like home health, and because she really does need that extra help. So I'm talking to my business coach, and like I realized this about me. I was afraid she would think I was a failure for not showing up. I'm like, does it seem? And I said something like that. Like, where did that come from? I'm like, yep, there's another layer. There's another layer that showed up for me to go and look at and go deep into later today. And it made me realize that I didn't even know that was there. And she was just the sweetest, kindest woman of support, saying, don't worry about what we're working on. You just take care of you. And we had a really great conversation. Now, why was I sharing this? So you never know how support can show up. And allow it to come in. Allow that support to come in and touch you and be with you and reach out to people. I did that right away on Monday when my sister Cindy collapsed and she was taken to the hospital. I reached out on Monday to a variety of different people that I know they know how to hold sacred space and help keep me on track, help keep me in my flow. Do you understand what I'm saying? Help me to stay like, okay, Tammy, to stay in your heart, to stay here. Remember this, remember that. I'm like, thank you. Because there were things I forgot because in the emotional state I was in. So I'm sharing all these different little tidbits, hoping that maybe something will land for you. Maybe something will land for you that like, oh yeah, implement that. Oh yeah, how did I show up in something? How would I have showed up 10 years or 20 years ago with that? Is there improvement? Oh yeah, there is. Bravo for you. What kind of good habits do you have in place that can support you when you're too tired to think? When you're too tired or you have a life challenge and that's when you grab something that's not healthy to eat, that actually depletes you instead of fills you up. What different things do you have in place already? Do you have a support team? Do you need a more expanded support team? Have you created a relationship? Are you creating a relationship with your spiritual team? With your entourage? Are you taking care of you? Are you getting rest? Are you allowing your emotions to come forth and be expressed? Oh. Yes. Are you getting out of your ego? Are you getting out of your head when it's telling you things that really aren't supporting you? Like, I can do this. I need to do this on my own. Oh, well, I better not say that. They might think less of me. There are times when you will have to take charge in life, and you cannot care what other people think about you. Yeah. And those people could be people of authority. Like yesterday, the paramedic. The paramedics that, when I called the ambulance, the paramedics that came to check on my mom, her vitals were good. Thank goodness. And the paramedic looks at me. Said, well, her vitals are good. What do you want us to do about it? What do you want us to do with her? Like, whoa, Mama Bear came up and Tammy Lee. So I just had a little discussion with that paramedic. And he got on the ball a little bit more. So sometimes, are you willing to allow that of you? For me, I call it my Mama Bear, because I can feel. And let me share this story with you. I could feel my Mama Bear when I was 17. Interesting enough, never felt her before that time, but I was pregnant. Didn't know I was pregnant. 17 in the doctor's office. And I'd been sick. I'd had the flu-like symptoms. And the doctor comes in and he tells me I'm pregnant. Of course, total shock to my system. And then he starts to suggest that I have an abortion for no apparent reason besides being too young. And my Mama Bear came out in me. I could literally feel claws. It was weird. My first experience, 17, I could feel the claws coming out of my fingers. I could feel the hairs rising up my back. And I could feel this ferociousness within me. Like I really could rip this guy apart, this doctor. Because for me, at that moment in my life, that was not an option. Not saying about anything about anybody else that is an option for. For me, that's never been an option. And right there and then I knew at the age of 17, with nobody else by my side, no mom. Yes, I'm married, senior in high school, but my husband's working. So I decided as I walked out of that doctor's office, I would never go back. I needed to find a new doctor. I never trusted that doctor ever again. And found the best doctor ever that was there for all 5 of my children. So allowing that part of us to come up to tell us, to share with us. See, we integrate that then. My Mama Bear has been with me. I know since the age of 17. And there are many times I have utilized her. Well, you take that for however you want to. I'm like, I don't need just like your inner siren, which we're going to talk more about that tonight on the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood. All right. Diana, let's see what she says. You have taught me to call on my spiritual team. When I faced surgery by myself, I called on everyone I could think of, and it gave me comfort. I know they were with me. I agree, Carol. I agree. It's unfortunate about the paramedic experience. So, anyway, let's end today on a good note. My mom is doing better. I got that phone call right before we got on. That's why I was a little late. I don't know if my sister will actually make it out of the hospital to go back home. If she does make it out of the hospital, she'll be probably going to a facility, as from what I understand right now. So I just said let's end this on a good note, right? So when you're I'm just kind of going blank. I'm asking for help right now to figure out how to say what I'm seeing and hearing. When you have these different situations that come to you, that you experience, that you are a part of, do you already have a place and plan that you can go to, that you can look at, that you can remember, oh yeah, I put that there, that you know, that somebody else will know what means something to you to take care of you? Do you have that? Like, how are you taking care of you? How are you taking care of you? And are you making that a priority? Because the number one thing, even with all these different things of what's happening, either close to us or outside of, you know what I mean? Like close to us, like really close family knit or friend thing. And then there's all that other chaos in the world that really is part of the human life. In some regards, some respects, what are you doing to take care of you? Write down 5 things. Put that list on your bathroom. Put that list on your bedroom dresser. That you can just look at that list throughout the day or before you go to bed at night or when you wake up in the morning. Have I done one of those things on that list that you know will nourish and nurture you so you can be in your strength? So you can be in your strength when these life challenges spring up out of nowhere. There's a lot of different questions. And different ideas in this share today. I encourage you to go back and listen to the very beginning of it. And really start thinking about those different things. So you, my dears, so you darlings, have an incredible support system in place when life challenges can take you out. Thank you for being here with me today. So really, let's keep this conversation going. Maybe you do something that I would maybe never think of. I really think if we would put different things in the chat under this video, we would be encouraging other women. What support system do you have in place? Are you doing something? Do you have what healthy habits do you have in place that when you're not thinking right, that habit just helps you out? Instead of last night, me grabbing for a bag of chips at 10 o'clock after I've been eating healthy for days. I'm like, yeah. And then what did I want after that? I wanted something sweet. And then, after that, then I wanted something salty. It's like, doggone it. So what healthy habits do you have in place that will support you when life challenges can take you out? One of the top things to ask yourself. Thank you for joining me today. If you need anything, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. This is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood, right here in Ignite Your Joyful Heart. Thank you.